Today we've got a 2500 HD GMC Sierra pickup, 2025 model. We're going to put a lift gate on it with one person. First step, we're going to take a T15 Torx and remove the tail lights. There's two Torx in each one. And then after that, we're going to go for the strikers. To get the tail lights out, be careful. They're flimsy plastic and they will crack. Just grab the edge of it like that, give it a yank, and it comes right off. And we're going to twist the bulbs out and then unplug each assembly. Next, we're going to grab these cargo lamps. You can access the plug-in through the inside, but first it's easier to unsnap the cargo lamp from its perch. So we'll take a screwdriver and pop it out and unplug it. And we're going to do that for both sides. A long screwdriver helps get in there and pop that catch on the back of that light. Once it's free and unplugged, we're going to set it down and move on to the next step. We're going to remove the 110 AC receptacle, and it's going to get relocated. Again, that's a T15 Torx. The liftgate comes with a bracket that you can mount this into. I like to relocate it back into the bed. It just looks better. But you can use a bracket if you want. Go ahead, and we're going to unplug it as well. Now we're going to take this plate off of the lift gate or the tailgate. That's the access plate. And this will get us access to the wiring harness that's inside. Again, it's T15. Going to take all the fasteners out, then set this to the side. Now down inside here, you've got wire routed and held together with these plastic fasteners, plastic cable hold downs. What we're going to do is we're going to start popping the cable hold downs off with a trim tool. There's quite a few, so you'll have to get them all. You have to find all of them. And then once you get all those released, we're going to move on to the electrical connectors. And the electrical connectors all have red safety catches on them so they don't come unplugged accidentally. You just pull it back towards the back of the cable. And we're also going to take these two 10mm bolts out, which will drop the tailgate handle out the other side, which will make it a lot easier to remove the connectors. Plus, there's a camera in there. We're going to want to save that camera as well. $10mm times 2. And you just give it a push and it pops out. Then you're able to get to the connectors a lot easier than trying to get to it through that access hole. And you just pull the red safety connector towards the rear towards the cable. And in this handle, you have the actual switch to let the tailgate down. You've got the camera, and then you have an LED light. We're going to be saving the camera out of it. We're going to relocate it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and start unplugging the connectors up here. Just snap that back, pop it loose. Once you've reinstalled your liftgate handle or tailgate handle, and to remove that Torx, or to remove the camera, it's also a T15. But we're going to go ahead and reattach that handle, and then we're going to start on the cables that hold the tailgate. We're going to remove those on the pickup side. And that would be a 14mm, 13 or 14, I can't remember which one, but once you get those loose, now it's time for the strikers. And it's a Torx. I think it's a T40 or T45, somewhere around there. Pull those out. And we're going to get under the truck here and start pulling that cable or the harness through the access port on the bottom side of the bed. There's a hole here, and you just pull it all through. And you'll have to take all these connectors loose eventually, because this bumper is going to have to come off in order to install the lift gate and the factory receiver hitch. will have to also come out. Okay. Well, let's crawl back out from under here again. Now we should be ready to remove the tailgate. You lift it up at an angle, about a 45-degree angle, and you pop the right side out first. Whoops, I dropped the camera. And sorry about the jerky film or the jerky video. I was holding the camera the whole time while doing this. You'll need a pry bar, and basically you just pull it up at a 45, and you just lift up on the right corner, and it'll pop out. You might need a little pry bar to coax it out. There it is. And then you'll need to pry towards the right to slide it out of its pin. And that could be a little tricky too by yourself. You might have to reposition it several times like I did in order to get it to slide out. But eventually, I will get it. Here she comes. And just grab your tailgate. And pull it off. Okay, now with the tailgate removed, we're going to have to attack this bumper to get it off of there. There are 2 braces on either corner. Those will need to come off. 13 millimeter and an 18 millimeter. Pardon me. We'll get those corner braces. And there's 2 13 millimeters right behind the tag. You'll need to remove those as well. And here is the liftgate. I went ahead and did some prefab on it. I wanted to show you this in advance. The plates that are facing up with all the screws in it right there, though, that bridges the gap between the bed and the liftgate. And what you need to do is start on the left side and break each plate dead center of either end. See how that's dead center? If you start there, you won't have to measure anything. And you start from left to right. And you're going to end up putting these braces back up under here. But it's going to be going to the receiver, the new receiver hitch, and the liftgate for added strength. You got 2 18 millimeters here, and you got 2 over on the other side. And then you have a couple at the top. And once that is loose, you're ready to grab the bumper, pull it off, and chunk it. But you are going to want to remember to get your trailer plug-in out of that bumper. Now, in order to get this factory receiver hitch out from under here, you either have to lift the bed up or move the bed up and pick it up about 6 inches, or you do what I'm fixing to do, and that's just cut the metal right here and right here. You're going to make a total of 4 cuts, and then you'll bend that metal up, and it'll slide right out. But before we do that, the hinges for the tailgate have to come out, and then you're going to want to grab the plug-in for your trailer lights and trailer brake. It's got 2 tabs on either side on the back. You just push those in, and it pops right out. And there you go. We're going to save that for later. There is our bed with the cuts in it and the flaps pulled up so we can pull that receiver hitch out. It's either that or you're going to be loosening the bed up and pulling it up about 6 inches to get that receiver hitch out. This truck is going to be a work truck, and so it's fine. Now we're going to take one of the brackets that the liftgate mounts to, and we're going to take a plasma cutter, and where this is not even, we're going to plasma cut this square. And these are the brackets that go on the other side, on the bottom side of the bed. So when you get this thing bolted up, you're going to want to put these brackets. Those will go in the vertical position, and you access those through the tail light holes. You'll be able to see it here. And that's just a reinforcement bracket. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and cut our hole for our electrical, our 110 receptacle. I'll usually put it right there. I take the old bracket and make a template. But first, this is the cargo tail light. I'm going to go ahead real quick and slap some adhesive around it because it does not lock into the covers that come with the tailgate for the cargo light. You'll have to glue those in. And once the glue's setting up and drying, set that aside. That's the bracket that comes with the receptacle for the 110. I don't use it, but I took that bracket and I made a template out of a piece of plastic. And then basically you just put it all the way to the bottom and all the way to the right side. And once you have it, that's right where you're going to need it. And go ahead and mark it off. It just looks much cleaner this way. If you don't want to cut your bed, you can use the bracket. I'm going to fire up the plasma cutter and cut that square out. Make sure your cord, your cable's out of the way inside there. You got to pull it, otherwise you'll melt that sucker. Just go around your square from the template. My template fits super tight, so I had to shave some more off after the initial cut. There, the piece dropped out. Now I'm going to clean it up, and we're going to test fit that 110 receptacle. And it's still not quite there. It's a little tight, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up a little more. We'll take a little off the top. We're going to take a little off the bottom. We're going to try that test fit again. Still need a little bit more. We're going to shave off just a little tad more, and then she will fit. There she goes. Looks much cleaner that way than that bracket. Go ahead and use 4 self-tappers after you plug it in. You're going to want to shave that cover on the 110 receptacle so it can clear that the cargo ring. And you're going to do the same for the other side. You're going to come over. You're going to set your mounting bracket for the liftgate on the left side. You're going to mark your holes, drill your holes, put your reinforcement brackets on the back side, and get it bolted up as well. And it'll look just like that. And your hardware comes with these Allen head, rounded off Allen head bolts. Those are going to actually mount the plates to the liftgate. And I'll show you how these set up here. Those plates will go with that big tab on the bottom. So it'll face the bottom of the liftgate. And it's laying on its back, so if it's kind of hard to envision what's going on here. But the tailgate's laying on its back right now. That's it mounted properly. You're going to want to mount the plate on the outside and then put your rounded button head Allen bolts from the inside out. You want the nuts on the outside. And go ahead and tighten those down. In order to get this liftgate up, you're going to have something to pick it up with. I happen to have this A-frame with electric hoist. And that allowed me to do this by myself. But you go ahead and just get it in position. And you just be careful. Don't bang your paint. And you're going to slowly shove that into the opening there. And once you get it in position, it'll look something like this. And what you're going to do is you let it down slowly and then line up your mounting holes with the bracket. And you'll have 3 on that mount it to the truck. And you're going to start with your top bolts first. Once your top bolt's in, all you got to do is just let it down and it'll fall right into place. If you don't have a hoist like this, you can use a forklift. Or 3 or 4 guys. And you're going to also want to clear that bracket for the light, so the light will fit in there. If you don't, it will interfere and the light won't go in properly. So you're going to make sure your spacing's correct. Generally about halfway on those are good. And there she is installed. We went ahead and got the cargo lights installed and The electrical connector snapped back in and plugged in. And now we're going to reinstall our tail lights. And you want to be careful when you're doing those lights. Don't push on it from the face. Otherwise, you will crack the tail light. And it comes with these brackets that hold it in. And before you put the tail lights in, you're going to want to go ahead and put your bolts in. Put your bolts in both sides. It makes it a lot easier. You can get to it without the tail lights in there. Go ahead and get your bolts. These hold downs are slotted. So once the tail lights are in, you just slide that under the bolt and tighten it up. I'm going ahead. Don't forget your electrical connections on the back of the tail light on both sides. Both sides have an electrical connection. And screw the bulbs in. You're going to want a tool like this. This is a quarter drive double-headed ratchet. It makes getting in tight places real easy. It'd be hard to do it with anything else. And these brackets have to come off now. There'll be 4 of them. There'll be 2 on either corner and 2 in the middle. And you just use a 14 millimeter and those will come off. And then once you get those brackets off, you're going to pull your cover off of the liftgate. There's 3 bolts holding it, or 3 nuts holding it together. And once you open it up, you'll see that your cable is inside. And then you're going to have these 2 brackets that come with it. And then you have your electrical, your circuit breaker for the liftgate. And I usually like putting them right there. So we'll go ahead and drill the hole for this right now and get this mounted up. Basically what I do is I just hold it and use the drill to make my holes. You may have to go underneath the lid to shave some of those little splines off of there so you can get your nuts on there. And then once it's attached and fastened to your fuse box cover, then you're going to want to go ahead and figure out where you're going to go for your electrical connection. But we'll set that to the side for now and come back to it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start pulling this cable apart. And you're going to want to zip tie the cable down like I did here. It helps hold everything firm, just like this. And once you have your cable pulled apart and stretched out, then you're going to want to come about 3 feet and you're going to want to cut the ground cable using some side cutters or some cut-off tool or whatever you got. But now that's cut off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make our ends. This is the end for the battery terminal going to the circuit protector. You take your copper lugs and heat them up, and then you run about a foot of solder into each one. Once you've done that, insert your cable and give it a twist. And then just you hold it for a minute, and then that solder will set up, and then move over to the next lug, and you're going to do the same to it, because you're going to have lugs on both ends. You can use a crimper if you want. I prefer soldering. It's a much better connection. Again, heat it up, run about a foot of solder down into it, and then just grab the other end of it and shove it in the hole. Again, sorry for the video work. I was trying to do everything with one hand. Okay, once your cable's done, it'll look like this. You're going to want to use the heat shrink that comes with it and heat shrink both sides. Now, once we figure out where we're going to hook up to, you're going to want to orient that circuit breaker to where the battery side is facing towards the center of the truck. Now, we're going to heat up one more lug for the ground cable. The instructions call for running to the ground terminal of the battery, but that's unnecessary. You can ground it to the frame and it's fine. So again, run another foot of solder into the lug and then twist your cable into it, and you got to hold it for a minute. And once it's good, then you're going to heat shrink this one as well. Heat shrinking this one's not so important because it's a ground cable, but it just looks cleaner. So I go ahead and heat shrink it. All right, now we're going to pull out these wires. There's a wire hold down right here. I go ahead and just remove it completely. And we'll pull these wires out. And then we're going to run our ground through that hole, and as well as the power back through that hole again, once everything's been separated. And we're going to run this ground up through the access hole where we got our cables from the liftgate or the tailgate. We're going to shove it up through there, and right directly in front or behind the spare tire is a row of grounds. You can see some ground cables. We're gonna go on one of those. Probably this one. It's 10 millimeter. And there we are, installed. Ready to rock. Now we just got to shove our power cable back through everything. And here it is, all shoved back through. All that's left now is to route your power to your circuit breaker, and you're done. You're good to go. One more thing. Inside here is a vent cap. You need to change the vent cap out. There's a red cap on here for the hydraulic fluid. You want to pull that red cap off, and you'll unscrew it, and you'll screw it right here. And then you take your vent cap, which is metal, has a screen in it to vent, and you will put it in that hole. And what you'll do, you can use that copper lug as a kind of a screwdriver to tighten that down with. Because there's not much room in there to work with, so I just use that copper lug, tighten it down, and you're good to go. Please like and subscribe if you found this content helpful. Thank you.